There are many fictional characters and stories centered around inventions. Sometimes it's a singular invention that transforms the world, and sometimes it's a series of smaller inventions that the character doesn't share with others. For example, the entire infinite world setting in GURPS hinges upon a single transformative invention, parachronic travel. Despite many stories featuring inventors, few systems actually have rules for inventing new things. GURPS does, fortunately, so let's take a quick look at them. Rules for invention can be found on pages 473 to 477 of GURPS basic set. There are some variants and expansions in other books, but nothing that changes this framework significantly. Honestly, I was surprised that even GURPS Girl Genius left these rules almost unaltered. GURPS has 3 layers of invention rules for 3 tiers of inventors: normal, gadgeteers, and quick gadgeteers. The base rules are the same for all 3, but gadgeteer and quick gadgeteer advantages include cinematic elements that improve your ability to invent things. First of all, to invent something, the inventor has to have an appropriate skill or skills. For most physical objects, this is a specialty of the engineer skill, but other skills can work as well. For example, wizards may invent new spells with a thaumatology skill. Sometimes multiple skills are necessary, and in this case the inventor will use the lowest of them. Second, each invention has a complexity rank: simple, average, complex, and amazing. This is more or less arbitrary. You can base it on the required skill level, retail price of the product, point cost of a gadget or ability, or anything else. The skill requirement and complexity work the same for all 3 inventor types. Then the first stage of the invention process starts, the concept stage. The GM rolls against your invention skill in secret once per day, or once per 1D minutes for quick gadgeteers. A success means that you come up with a concept and may proceed to the next step. A failure simply wastes time. A critical failure means that you come up with a flawed concept that is doomed to fail. However, this roll is heavily penalized, because otherwise you'd be able to easily invent anything. Let's see what the penalties are. Complexity applies a penalty. Realistic inventors are at -6 if the invention is simple, -10 if average, -14 if complex, or -22 if amazing. Gadgeteers and quick gadgeteers have much milder penalties. No penalty for a simple invention, -2 for an average one, -4 for a complex one, and -8 for an amazing one. If the basic technology is new to the campaign regardless of TL, the invention roll is at -5. This only applies to realistic inventors. Gadgeteers and quick gadgeteers ignore this. Realistic inventors can come up with technologies of 1 TL above theirs. This applies a -5 penalty. Gadgeteers and quick gadgeteers can invent technologies of any TL, and this penalty becomes -5 per TL. As you can see, the penalties are quite severe, but you can also claim some bonuses. Your invention skill is at +5 if you have a working model that you're trying to copy, or +2 if the device already exists but you do not have a model. In addition, if you are merely creating a variant of another device, you can claim a bonus from +1 to +5, depending on how similar the 2 devices are. The next stage is a prototype stage. Once again, this requires a secret roll against the invention skill. All the modifiers from the previous stage apply, but there are some additional ones. You get +1 per assistant with skill 20 or higher in one of the required invention skills, to a maximum of +4. Also, you are at a penalty from -1 to -10 if you have to use not the most advanced facilities for your TL. For realistic inventors, each prototype roll requires 1D -2 days if the invention is simple, 2D days if average, 1D months if complex, or 3D months if amazing. This can take even longer if the prototype is huge. This time is divided by the number of skilled people working on the project, but it cannot be lower than 1 day. For gadgeteers, this time is unchanged. For quick gadgeteers, prototyping time is much shorter. A prototype roll takes 2D minutes if the invention is simple, 1D -2 hours if average, 1D hours if complex, or 4D hours if amazing. Then there's the matter of cost. Facilities for prototyping cost 50,000 if the invention is simple, 100,000 if average, 250,000 if complex, or 500,000 if amazing. These costs are tripled if the invention is 1 TL above the inventor's TL. However, they can also be divided by 10 if the inventor has appropriate facilities left over from a previous related project of equal or higher complexity. Interestingly enough, these costs do not depend on TL. For gadgeteers, the base costs are the same, but each TL above the inventor's TL adds twice that amount. In addition to the facility cost, both realistic inventors and gadgeteers also have to pay the retail price of the invention for each prototyping attempt. Quick gadgeteers work very differently. You do not even need the facilities. You can acquire components with a scrounging roll or a similar skill. This roll is unpenalized for a simple invention, at -2 for an average one, -6 for a complex one, or -10 for an amazing one. On a success, the total cost for the project is only 1D minus 2 times $100, with a roll of 1 indicating no cost at all. If the quick gadgeteer must buy the components, calculate the facilities and prototype costs as for a normal gadgeteer, and then divide them by 100. So now we know the penalty time and cost. The GM rolls against your invention skill in secret, and if it is a success, you create a prototype. If you fail, you can try again. On a critical failure, an explosion or accident destroys the facilities and inflicts at least 2D damage to you. If you rolled a critical failure on the concept stage and rolled a critical success on the prototype stage, then you realize that your theory was flawed. The next stage is testing. If you rolled a critical success on your prototype roll, there are no bugs in your invention. If you succeeded by 3 or more, it has 1D divided by 2 minor bugs. Any other success gives you 1D divided by 2 major bugs and 1D minor bugs. Minor bugs are merely annoying, while major bugs can be catastrophic. The book has some examples for inventions of a higher TL than the inventors, but otherwise, the GM will have to come up with his own bugs. Testing requires a roll against the operation skill, not the invention skill, and takes a -3 penalty. The roll is made once per week of testing. Each success finds one bug, and a critical success finds all of them. A failure triggers a major bug if they are present. A critical failure triggers a major bug that wasn't actually present before, or makes the tester believe that no bugs remain. If any bugs remain after testing, they may surface during use. A minor bug surfaces when an operation skill roll fails by 5 or more, and a major bug surfaces on a critical failure. Gadgeteers and quick gadgeteers produce fewer bugs. A success of 3 or more results in no bugs, while a lesser success gives 1D divided by 2 minor bugs. Major bugs are not a thing for them at all. The final stage is production. Typically, if you only need to buy parts, production costs 20% of the retail price, and takes half the time required for the prototype roll. However, production lines are more efficient, but I won't bother you with numbers. This is very dependent on the invention, on the TL and the setting. And that's it. This invention framework is quite flexible. Other GURPS books have small expansions for it. For example, GURPS Thaumatology has rules for inventing alchemical elixirs. Pyramid 4.6 has rules for purely theoretical inventions. You can use the system to invent spells and abilities. GURPS Supers has a framework for one-use powers that use very similar rules, and those work great for massive magical rituals. I have never used the gadgeteer or quick gadgeteer advantages in my games, as they do not really fit the tone of my games, but the realistic invention rules did come up in one of my games where the characters were inventing new spells. And that's it. Thank you for watching, I will see you next time.